It's Home Run Derby Day, and I had the opportunity to speak with ESPN's Karl Revich and Eduardo Perez on who they think is the most underrated participant to win this year's MLB Home Run Derby in this episode of Iggy's Sports Talk. Hold up. Wait until the whole team show up. Welcome back into Iggy's Sports Talk. I'm your host, Jake Nazuski, or Iggy for short. And I want to thank you so much for tuning into this episode. And this is your first time listening to Iggy's Sports Talk. In each and every single episode, I try and shed light on the deeper aspects of sports. Maybe not in this episode, since we're mainly just talking about the Home Run Derby, but in past episodes, I really try and help you learn how to overcome your mental health struggles through other people's experiences, while also looking at the deeper lens of different sports topics. And if you like this episode, I talked last week with Red Sox top prospect Marcelo Meyer about how he goes about his mental game, as well as got the opportunity to speak with Blue Jays pitcher Alek Manoah on what he's learned throughout this tough stretch so far during the 2023 season. But in this episode, I had the opportunity to speak with ESPN's Karl Revich and Eduardo Perez on the Home Run Derby, and they speak about some of their favorite moments from past Home Run Derbies, as well as pick one player that they think is the most underrated to win this year's tournament. Now, without further ado, let's get into my conversation with Karl Revich and Eduardo Perez. Over the years, what has been some of your favorite Home Run Derby performances?
I think the first time this was introduced, when it comes to the timer, in Cincinnati, for me, it was a game changer. I didn't work that one, the Home Run Derby, but I was there for it, and I was like, okay, there's something to this now. And another one was Hamilton, who did not win it in Yankee Stadium, and he put on a show. And those two stand out in a major way, but being there and calling these year after year for the last couple of years that's been the top for me as a personal moment, because you're there and you can see the strength, the power. I remember one of them, I was actually with the mic and I would go and run and interview some of the players, and it was in San Diego. And I was sitting on a bucket, and I felt bad for the bucket. I didn't realize someone took a picture of me sitting on the bucket, and the bucket was about to collapse. I don't blame it. But it was watching Giancarlo Stanton hit those home runs in San Diego, seeing how far those went. I called one in Spanish with Ernesto Jerez as well in Miami. So each one has its own, stands alone, but it's every time you go out there, you're going to see something you've never seen before. And I have a feeling it's going to happen again next Monday.
Yeah, I would say that Harper and his dad was probably the one that resonated with me. I mean, there was this feeling towards the end like this ain't going to happen. The dad is throwing strikes. He's getting frustrated. And then all of a sudden, he was able to pull it off, and I think that was one of the great comebacks. It was a really neat story, and again, to Phil's point, like this is not an exhibition. You look at all these competitors, and you get into the final round. This is no longer a show. Like, I want to win this thing really, really badly, and if you look at the expressions on all the winners when it ends, whether it's a bat flip last year, it's Harper hugging his dad. All the father-son things stand out, but I think the Harper one was right there with Frazier's, because it was a great comeback. I think anytime Alonso wins, there's an energy to it. I didn't actually think last year's finish was that great, even though Soto kind of went down to a knee. I think Harper was the one that sticks with me as the most exciting and memorable one.
Who's the most underrated participant in this year's Home Run Derby?
Well, I mean, underrated means that how you define underrated. Like they don't have a chance, and they're going to surprise everybody, or
they're going to surprise everybody.
Yeah, I don't think the world knows. I don't only Garcia very well. The event, the time requirements are not going to wear him down. I think we heard last night on our Home Run Derby special, a lot of folks think Mookie Betts might get worn down by this whole thing. He'd be the guy that I think has a chance to do this as somebody who may not be yet known on the national stage, because he hits it every which way. He doesn't try. Hopefully, he won't try to pull the ball. He's strong enough to hit it out of any part of that ballpark. So I think Garcia would be that guy.
Yeah, and with me, you know what I think is really interesting is that Betts is actually a 3 seed, and he's going against Vladdy, a 6th seed, right? He hits the ball harder than anybody else there, 109. That was Sarah Lang's yesterday that came up with that one. 100, every home run you added up average-wise, it's 109 miles per hour off the bat. But the distance is going to matter in a major way. And this is where the number 1 seed, where a lot of people out of Chicago just don't know a lot about Luis Robert Jr. We haven't seen him in the postseason. And national stage, we're about to find out if Luis Robert Jr. can become household name.
I hope that you did enjoy my conversation with Karl Revich and Eduardo Perez, and this helped you get a little bit of a better insight going into tonight's Home Run Derby. But I want to hear who you think is going to win tonight's Home Run Derby. Pete Alonso's looking to three-peat. In my opinion, I think Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has a really great chance to win it. We saw him just a few years ago combined with Jock Peterson for almost 80 home runs just in one round. I think he's going to look to try and take that trophy away from Pete Alonso. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below if you're watching over on YouTube. But if you're listening to this, let me know over on Twitter. Follow me at Jake Iggy. And also, if you want to hear more Iggy Sports Talk episodes in the future, make sure to subscribe over on YouTube or whatever audio platform that you listen to. I mainly try and post bi-weekly, but sometimes when the moments arise, I post weekly. And if you want to stay updated on everything that's happening regarding the podcast, follow Iggy Sports Talk over on Instagram. It's at Iggy Sports Talk. But greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, the support has been unbelievable. It's been amazing to see sort of all the attention as well as the support that I've gotten on the Alek Manoah episode, as well as the Marcelo Meyer episode, and how really it's helped people look at these players and understand the deeper aspects of their game, as well as look at how they're approaching their mental side of the game. That's the one thing that I try to do with each and every single episode, sort of throw out the surface level talk about sports. We can talk about trades, we can talk about free agents, debate all that sort of stuff all we want. I'm going to leave that to ESPN and some of the other channels who do that. I'm going to try and focus on the deeper aspects of sports and help people try and learn more about the person, not just the player. But as always, greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much for the support, as always. And I'll talk to you and see you next time. Peace.